One, man, is one of my favorite franchise opportunities. Okay, Bio One was the first crime and trauma scene cleaning franchise. Rachel, I see your thumbs up. Appreciate that. You can hear me loud and clear. They operate in over 41 different states with over 100 plus locations, which is a crazy benchmark to be at. They're ranked number 1 in crime scene and cleaning and trauma scene cleanup by Entrepreneur Magazine, of which they were 42nd out of the top 500 franchise opportunities. They're owned by 5-star franchising, which they themselves as a company were ranked 157th on the Inc. 5000 list, right? That's up there with like groups like Meta was up there once, Microsoft was up there, Under Armour was up there once. It's insane to be on a list like that. Crime scene, they do all kinds of cleanup, from crime scenes to suicide cleanup, to hoarding situations, to medical waste, to disposal, to rodent issues, pest issues, junk removal, deceased animals, feces. They do pretty much all of it. Like literally the only thing they can't clean up are the injuries on your fantasy football roster. It's insanity. They have very much so a kind of help first, business second mindset. And that's why one of the biggest reasons I love this. And they push that help first, business second, because they're a company that's stepping into other people's situations that are like the darkest, hardest situations people have ever had to experience. They've had some pretty incredible historic situations they've had to be involved with. And we might even bring some of those out in our conversation today. So with us today is the one and only Stephanie Ruby, Director of Franchise Development. She's been in franchising for over a decade, both whether it's in sales or development or as a franchisee herself. You might have seen her on other things like the Franchise News podcast, the Franchising 360 show on Biz TV, Vision to Images. She's done a ton of these things. None, of course, as awesome as this one. And I actually got the pleasure of meeting her in person earlier this year. And trust me, she lives up to the weight of her last name, Ruby. Now, I did this myself. According to Wikipedia, here's what a ruby is. The ruby is one of the most popular jewelry gems and is extremely durable. Okay, the ruby is a traditional cardinal gem alongside other ones you've probably heard of: amethyst, sapphires, emerald, and diamonds. That's who she is, one of a kind. And today, we're going to talk about the business model for Bio One. We're going to talk about the investment. We're going to talk about support. We're going to talk about the item team. We're going to talk about a whole lot. And trust me, you want to hang on to the very end, because I have an interview where you actually get to hear from a real franchisee and kind of hear a little bit about their story, their experience. So without further ado, let's introduce Stephanie Ruby of Bio One.
I chose to become an owner of Bio One because of the help first, business second mentality.
Help first, business second.
I definitely take the whole, the mantra, the idea of help first, business second to heart.
So for me, help first means looking at the individual as a whole.
Help first to me means I'm a human being, first of all, and the person I'm interacting with is a human being.
It's like a 360 view of that individual, what their needs are.
Business comes as a priority to me, but before business, we are first human-to-human contact. And so if you need something that I can give you, I want to serve you and I want to be kind to you.
These individuals need the help. They've been through, some of them might have been through traumatic situations and things like that, but then at the end of the job, seeing that smile on their face, that is what help first means to me.
The most rewarding aspect of our job is to see the finished product, is to see the transformation in the places that we go into, the places that we clean, the places that we organize. To see that reaction from some of the clients is really the most rewarding part of the work.
Hi, I'm Sandy Ellis, the president of Bio One, and if you're interested in joining our Bio One family, we'd love to talk with you. Reach out to us soon.
Stephanie, how are you? Welcome to the greatest Facebook group in the metaverse.
Thank you. I feel very pumped up about myself now after listening to your introduction.
You should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
pumped up. We are pumped up to have you here. You should be pumped up as well. This is awesome stuff. So genuinely, thank you for taking your time to be here with us and to unpack this opportunity with this.
I've never gone live before, though. This is my first live situation.
Okay, hey, you know what? Sometimes you make mistakes, like you forget to unmute yourself or something like that. So it happens. You just got to roll with it, all right? But let's dive right in, because that's what we're here to talk about is Bio One. We want to hear about this opportunity. So tell us a little bit about the brand. Tell us a little bit about what it is and what it does.
Yeah, so Bio One was actually founded in 2006 off the premise that we really want to prevent families from being re-traumatized by having to clean up certain situations they should never have to face. And so at the end of the day, what our franchise owners do is they're hiring and recruiting technicians to clean up things that nobody else can or will do, right? Because there's a psychological barrier to entry, but also the should do, right? And again, that kind of goes back to preventing families from being re-traumatized. So again, things nobody else can, will, or should do. And that ranges from anything from biohazard, crime, trauma, severe filth, hoarding. It's not pretty, but it's certainly a profitable opportunity. Because I don't know, I've been in, as you pointed out, I don't know where 10 years have gone. I remember being the person in franchising, but over my years in franchising, what I've learned, the dirtier the job, the less the competition and the more money there is to make. So that's where I jumped here.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about like what kind of cleanup or scenes like historically have some of your Bio One franchisees been a part of?
So the biggest one was Mandalay Bay. Yeah. Yeah. So that's probably the highest profile and probably the largest and hopefully the largest we ever have to do, right? But the Vegas owner got the call up there, and we had 8 owners throughout the country fly out and help him. So that was the highest profile. But there's been a few others. We're usually in the background, though. Our franchise owners, they go by the motto, we lead with compassion, discretion, and care. And so we're usually in the background, bringing just a little bit of
Okay. So it's a interesting business model itself, because like in order how they make business is if horrific things take place, right? So like what are some of the like metrics or measurements you guys use to identify if you guys are being successful?
So from numbers, right? Looking at the data, and we actually just implemented a brand new technology last year that is able to start tracking everything from percentages as far as hoarding jobs versus bio jobs, where every single lead is coming from, averages, percentages, time on property, productivity per hour. So again, really, really cool stuff, but it comes down to the numbers. Now, it is unique in our world because there is so much variance to what our owners do. And so something like a homicide cleanup is going to be a lot different than, let's say, if it's a feces removal or a fentanyl remediation or a hoarding, right? And so there's just so much variance with our owners, and just what they do. So
what kind of, when you mentioned the owners, what kind of owners are you looking for? Like, are they like, you guys need to have some tough skin to do this because you're going to be doing this?
They do need to have a stomach, right? Now, what I've been told, and really only about 20-ish% of our owners come from that background where they already have the stomach built in, whether it's a vet, law enforcement, first responder, right? So 80% of our owners walking into Bio One, they've never been exposed before. So what I've been told, and I haven't seen much, but what I have been told is that once you've seen a few things, you've seen it all. So they have to have a stomach for it. The common denominator among all of our franchise owners, because I've never seen such a variety of owners and backgrounds. Like we have everything from franchise consultants, former law enforcement, PhD, stay-at-home mom, right? And so the common denominator is they're very altruistic because that's what they focus on, is helping families and bringing closure. And you'll hear them talk about how they put a home back together and we're able to hand it back to a family. And so they focus on good and what they do on the back end versus the actual it factor, if you will, of what they see. So.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, you talk about an owner that needs to have a tough stomach. A stay-at-home mom has seen about just about all of it. You know, like feces cleanup. That's just a part of your daily routine sometimes. So
I feel like my kid's bathroom needs a biohazard. what is this? So.
Oh man, ain't that the truth? No joke. What is the process of so we have a wide variety of people in this group, right? People all the spectrum. Some of the ones you already mentioned, but people, whether it's in corporate or stay-at-home moms or their teachers or whatever it might be. What is the process then for them to become an owner look like? Like, what kind of do they have to go through a bunch of certification and training to know how to deal with hazardous material and anyway, what is this whole, how do you become an owner at Bio One?
Yeah. So do you want to start with my process or what it looks like when they sign?
Let's start with your process. Let's go there.
So I'm all about getting to know candidates, and I always say, right, my role is to help educate candidates on who we are as a company, to make sure they're making the right decision for them and their families, and of course to qualify on behalf of my organization. Right. But it's an 8-step process. Usually takes roughly 6 to 8 weeks on average. First step for me is an intro call. I just like to be able to make sure I can hold a conversation with somebody. And I like them to fall in love with us a little bit more before I make them sit through an hour-long webinar. But the webinar stage, then we send our franchise disclosure document, the most exciting document in the world, FDD. This is the best part, and this is where the magic happens. We introduce them to franchise owners. And, usually once you've spoken to 3 to 5 owners, if the model's the right fit or not, and if that does line up, that's when we would introduce to the executive team and have them join us for a meet the team day. So 8-step process, 6 to 8 weeks. Now here's the crazy part: from signing the franchise agreement to being operational, you're looking at 30 to 60 days on average.
Okay.
This is an emerging industry, and so as a result, there's not a lot of federal. Actually, I don't think there's any federal regulations in the industry. Very little regulations, either on a federal and or local level.
Wow.
That is what we provide, and so it's a very, very quick ramp up period. Now we make sure they're OSHA certified and are trained on how to handle blood pathogens and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a quick ramp period from signing and going. So.
Yeah, incredible. Tell us about the investment itself. When they're interested, curious, especially when you mention something that it's so new that there's not much government oversight. And also in the same breath, there's not much competition in this either. So that in of itself is highly intriguing and seems like a ground level kind of opportunity to invest on. But what is the investment?
Roughly all in $150. So our FDD says it's anywhere from just shy of $120 all the way up to $169. I would say the majority of candidates come in with $150. And just I always recommend, if you can have extra money in cushion stored away in case you need it, awesome. But yeah, roughly $150.
Okay, and that's for a single unit. Do you have many owners that are talking about multi-units, or do you even recommend that with this business?
Most people start with one office location.
Okay.
And so most people start with one. We'll do up to 2 if it's a right fit. But over time, most people grow into a second office. Well, let me rephrase that. So we probably have 20 to 30-ish owners that have multi-units. So what's crazy about it too, and I've never seen this in franchising, we have multiple owners who own locations in different states, different cities. It's once you get the business up and running, it's a simple model. It's not difficult, right?
Okay.
So we're cleaning stuff that mostly just throwing away stuff that nobody else should do. And so, but once you get that kind of under your belt, and it's really easy to pop another location up. Regardless of what state it's in, apparently.
How do the owners find employees? How do you find people to go do this job?
And that's one of my favorite parts of this model. And so, I obviously I'm a raving fan, right? But it's the labor is simple. You don't need skilled labor,
right?
You don't need a ton of labor. So we recommend starting with 2 to 3 part-time technicians. We recommend EMTs. We recommend firemen. We recommend certified nursing assistants, LP, right? So people who traditionally work secondary jobs, a lot of them work shift work. So they have the flexibility to meet the demand of our owners when they're growing their business. And then from there, what people will hear is it's usually a lot easier to hire in biohazard than most other industries. And it's because of what we can pay. So we encourage our owners to pay between $30 to $60 per hour. So people will do more for $50 an hour than 15. So yeah,
that's the truth. Yeah. If you're going to have me go clean up some poop, I'm going to expect you to pay well for that. That's the truth.
General rule of thumb is the grosser the job, the higher the margins. And
no joke. I would hope so. My goodness. What? So with that, then, this is such a unique business that we're literally in our portfolio. I don't have another business like it. Like, we have other cleaning services, but this is not the same as like a mulligan, which is awesome in its own right. But it's not. They're doing completely different things. So like, what specifically does support look like for your owners? How are they going to know that when they become an owner with Bio1, they're going to be supported through and through? What's that look like?
Yeah, so this is where we really get to leverage the relationship of 5-star, right?
Yeah.
And so because we're part of 5-star, we have the resources to provide a ton of support. And so let's say somebody comes on board, they're going to be working with their onboarding specialist on everything that needs to happen from becoming an owner to coming to classroom training. Part of that is going to be pre-strategizing their personalized marketing strategy, looking at potential referral partners, learning the technology. And so again, lots of hand holding from Bree. She's your onboarding specialist. But from there, you come to classroom training. Classroom training, you're going to learn everything from in person. Oh, this is a big one. We definitely do in person for training. One day is spent on marketing and networking and just kind of how to build those relationships and who to build them with. One day is an entire day on estimating and quoting. Okay. Wednesday is mock crime scene cleanup day.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Is like, do you just like hope that there's going to be a crime to go clean up that week or something? But you set it up yourself.
We do it. They spray the break room down with sheep's blood. You can get like anything on Amazon. So they spray the break room down with sheep's blood. And I've gone through the training. There was not enough room in the mock crime scene for me to go in. So I was grateful for it. But so you'll learn how to don and doff the PPE, how to tape, how to wear what mask, how to double booty, what goes in a red bag, yellow bag, how to doff the PPE as it's called. And so they do a crime scene. Wow. From there, we, whenever possible, if there is a situation that occurs with a local franchise owner, then they will go on a job site. And so last few classroom training, one went on a homicide cleanup. They've done severe hoarding jobs, but they usually also get to shadow a job in person as well, or partake, because we're not just going to have them shadow. We're going to go do it, right? Like, get in there.
Yeah, right. It's their training. You got to be hands-on.
But so then, I mean, even when they graduate training, they're still going to have weekly meetings with Amber, our marketing director, their business coach, Nick. We do on-site visits. We've got monthly town halls. I mean, we have an entire team just to support our owners. And then in our model too, and I think one of the most underrated reasons to get into franchising is camaraderie, right? So nobody talks about that enough. You have access to all of your peers that you can call anytime. It's even more so true here. I think because at the end of the day, our owners, they leverage each other for comedic relief, therapeutic purposes.
I feel like you're going to need that in this business.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And they're so tight because they're constantly sharing ideas, right? Like, we can't spend an entire day of classroom training teaching some of the unique things that our owners will see, right? Like, we can't teach everybody how to clean out 8,000 pounds of rotten fish, right? That was a real job, right? And so they're constantly sharing ideas. And so as a result, they're really, really close. So you've got the support from us. They're going to be super, super tight with their peers, but lots of training.
How many franchisees do you currently have?
I want to say we have roughly 110 unique owners with 130-ish locations. Yeah.
Do most of them come in as like, this is their first time owning a business?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. You don't have to have a ton of business experience with this one.
No.
A lot of it for some. Awesome.
And so we really, like, what the nature of what we deal with is complex, right? Like the emotions, what families are facing, what the stuff they may see, but the model is simple. Like, it really is. Like, it doesn't take a lot. You start with a couple of part-time technicians, a used white box truck, and you scale from there. It's one of those things where, and I'm quoting franchise owners, but it's not rocket science. It takes activity.
It's rocket science cleanup.
It is rocket science. Well, speaking of, hazmat companies are actually really good referral partners for us.
Yeah, I bet.
Because they get bio calls. They don't do bio. They refer to us, just like we get hazmat calls. We don't do hazmat. We refer to them. So
that's great. You need to use that and promote that. It's not rocket science, but it is rocket science cleanup. I'll let you guys take that and run with it in your own marketing plans. But.
I will pass it along. Actually, one of my colleagues at a conference I was just at, she goes, "Oh, you guys do everything from fentanyl to feces," and I'm like, yeah, it's
I guess, yeah, that's hilarious. My goodness. So I bet though, with like all of those owners who most of them, this is their first business ever getting into, and making the major. I mean, going from stay at home to owning a business or the school to owning a business is a major life transformation. Do you have any like specific stories that stick out to you, like stories of success from current franchisees that come to mind that you could share with us?
Yeah, the one that always sticks in my head when I first got here, right? So when I onboard with a brand or I'm learning a new concept, one of the first things I do is I talk to owners, because my goal is to ensure that I'm aligned with whatever's going on with the owners, and so my candidates know what to expect, right? So I always want to be aligned. And so I started talking to franchise owners, and I was speaking to one of our owners. He was in Auburn, and I was talking to him, and he just sounded like this wise elder man, and he was just so relaxed, and I was like, I was like, he's awesome. And so he's like, yeah, I'm just sitting here on my patio of my dream lake house that's being built that I never would have had if it wasn't for Bio One. Like the vision.
I'm just sitting here on my lake house.
On the patio of your dream house. And so this owner, here's what's crazy. So he was like 30. He's a young guy.
Oh, wow. And
he has 3 locations now. And he was sitting on the back patio of his dream lake house being built because of Bio One. So I'm like, it's the stories like that. And I think that's just franchising as a whole, right? When you find an opportunity that's a right fit.
Yes and no. Yes and no. I think I know what you're saying. Like, that's the hope of franchising in general. But so much of that, it comes down to making sure it's the right fit for you, that you are the right fit for them. And like, because like, yes, you guys have the right playbook, that everything's in place, very simple, copy and paste. There's not much competition here. It's such a low barrier to entry. Like, everything is set up for success for these owners. But if the individual is not a good fit, like for Bio One, it's not going to work out, regardless of how much you have in place to help them succeed. It's not going to work out.
And that's one of the things to our owners, actually. So when I was talking to them, when I do talk to them, but as I was coming on board and learning the model and everything, they're like, you can't place someone in this business that's chasing the money. To Bio One to chase the money, you lose vision of what we're actually doing and why we're doing it, and the connection with the actual people that you're working with. And so they're like, you can't place people chasing money.
Yeah, it has to be people first, profit second.
One, especially in this, my RSVP Colt, he actually refers to as passionate profits.
Passionate profits.
Yeah. Like that, right? So
I like that. Talk to us about the passionate profits then. Because that's what it comes down to for most people at the end of the day is the profits. Like, yes, they love this. They love the idea of they have deep compassion for others and want to step in to help others in their darkest situation, darkest need, right? This is an opportunity to do that. But if they're not going to make any money, if they're not going to be able to even live off this, if not scale or whatever it might be that their goals are financially, they're not going to do it. So can you share with us a little bit about whether that's Adam 19 or what that kind of looks like?
Yeah, so this is such an interesting, unique model, right? Because there's such a range between the bio jobs, the hoarding, the fentanyl, right? There's just so much opportunity. It's really, really unique to see. And now our owners per office location, top producers are doing anywhere from 500 per office up to 1.2 million per location. Yeah.
For a single territory.
Single territory, single office. Yeah. And then of course we've got owners that have multis. But what I will share, and I talk about this, I've been in franchising 11 years, feel like stalk me on LinkedIn, whatever you want to do. Right. Like I've been around. There are some things that I do not claim on there that I neglected to put up there for reasons. But what I see with Bio One, because as you know, I'm legally restricted with how much I can share on but what I see
as is I as well.
Yeah, we all are.
You're going to come to me, and the first question everyone asks is, "Great, I like it. How much can I make?" Awesome. I can't answer that legally. I cannot, or you could sue the crap out of me. I'm not going to let you do that. But I am going to help you, point you in the right direction, give you some tools that can maybe help you answer that question. And that's really what Stephanie's going to do as well, is you're going to look at the FDD. If you don't know what that is yet, don't worry. That's part of my process. I kind of help educate you in that too. But you're going to look at that. And there's several things on there, specifically in item 19, that can kind of help you understand and answer to that question a little more clearly, as well as what Stephanie mentioned too, validation calls. It's going to be a great way to do that. And don't worry, again, I will help you leverage those to get those questions answered appropriately. But I and Stephanie we literally will not, because we cannot say, here's how much you're going to make, if that makes sense.
We wish we could. It would make our lives easier.
Yeah, way easier.
So much easier. It's not us, it's them.
That's right, big brother. Can't do it. So,
the return on investment for some of these owners that I've seen on $150,000 investment, I've never seen in my career. Right. So again, this is where feel free to stalk me and
Lake House,
like dream Lake House money for a 30-year-old, right? Like it's
that's crazy.
It's a decent return.
Yeah, for real. That's so great. So, okay, so we have some elite entrepreneurs that have been following us along. They're listening, or maybe they're listening to this at a later time, later date, and they're highly intrigued by this for so many reasons, right? Maybe there's some that are just maybe somewhat on the fence a little bit. They're like, man, I don't really know if this is the right fit for me. So my last question for you, Stephanie, is that why should an elite entrepreneur or an empire builder who has the potential to look at 4,000 brands or, the 400 I could show them, why should an elite entrepreneur consider Bio1 over some of your competitors or any other brand?
One, you get to work with me. Like Jared already did the pump up, right? Like Jared did the.
What else can you want?
Oh, it's fun. You know what? So outside of it, I can do the whole like dirty the job, more competition. Like this is niche. There's limited competition. We're about as recession proof as it gets. There's 20 different revenue streams. You never have to take a job, nor are you ever limited. You also have multiple ways to get paid. You've got private pay jobs, insurance jobs, city jobs, contract jobs. So really, really cool model. It's just not pretty. Now, what I talk about and what you'll hear from the owners too, one of the reasons people get into Bio1, and if you have somebody who's on the fence at the end of the day, this is actually a really, outside of the jobs, it's a really fun, but also warm and fuzzy business because our owners are super tight. And again, that goes back to they focus on how they help families and they still get Christmas cards and people hug them with tears, right? It's just, it is an emotional, warm, fuzzy business that gives me goosebumps in a good way when I hear some of the stories, because people can be so grateful. Don't get me wrong, there's goosebumps in a bad way for some of the jobs I've heard about, but it's outside of what they see. It's a warm, fuzzy model, and the model's really actually cool. So.
But even with those stories that are absolutely horrific, you wouldn't wish it upon anybody. You can't even talk about it with how bad it is. Even with those situations, who is going to step in and take care of people in those situations? Somebody needs to do it, And so if you are a person that is deeply compassionate for other people, want to provide a service to meet a serious need, and you're looking for something with little competition, very little barrier of entry or overhead, you can start really simple and scale rapidly. This is the right business for you. And so what I want you to do right now, if you're like, I want to get started, I want to learn more, I want to see if this is a good fit for me, type 2024 in the chat and we'll reach out to you today. We'll get started. See if I might even put you on the phone today with Stephanie, if not tomorrow, if this is the right fit for you. But we're going to make sure that is the case. We're going to make sure your territory is available, you financially qualify, all those kinds of things. We're going to make sure this fits well into your 5-year, 10-year plan. We're going to talk about all those things together. And so to begin, just type 2024 in the chat. We'll get some conversations going. And you know what? Actually, what I want to do today is kind of switch it up. I was going to show a video of this franchisees, but I think what I'll do is with this business, you have a video that I'm going to show instead that talks about the question like the gut question that we were talking about. Like, am I good at it? Can I do this? You know, do I have the stomach for this? And so I think this is actually probably a better way to go. But as you're watching this, type 2024 in the chat and we'll get started today. Stephanie, appreciate you so much. Genuinely, your time, your energy, you're so great live. You were so nervous about that, but you knocked it out of the park. Everything. So
you make it easy. You have the energy. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get pumped up. I'm gonna go.
There you go. I got to make up for the technology issues in the last, but that's it. So, guys, enjoy. Until next time, check this out. We'll see you later.
When I first started learning about Bio One, one of my biggest concerns was whether or not I was going to be able to handle the kinds of scenes that we expected to encounter.
I was very afraid if I was going to walk into this and actually be able to do the kind of work that was required.
If I go get blood drawn, I'll probably pass out and feel kind of weak. So I thought that might be an issue. And I was surprised to find that it really wasn't.
After I did the training, I saw in terms of there are protocols like PPE. I never really knew about PPE, but that we're going to be wearing a full suit, we're going to have full face mask. So it's just really being able to do diligence and how I'm going to protect myself from this biohazard. And once I had that information, it made it a lot better.
I think the mentality that you have when you go into those scenes is you're just trying to help people, trying to get the work done, and you don't really have time to think about that, Plus, we have all the protection, we have everything we need to keep the place safe.